I think today I am the only person in this, right?
Yeah, because your time is totally different time zone.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So okay, so we'll start today with sizing, HANA database
Okay.
sizing. Yeah, so we'll see how we do the memory sizing, disk sizing, CPU sizing. Yeah, we'll cover that one. So in HANA, so we have uh, two delivery modules. One is the appliance delivery module, and another is the TDI delivery modules. Appliance, so we only do the sizing for the memory. If you're going for the appliance, then we do the sizing for the memory and the other component like CPU and the disk that automatically derive from the your main memory. Okay, so that is done by the certified hardware vendors. So appliance is nothing but SAP provide the hardware with pre-installed HANA database. In that case, we have to only give the memory requirements.
Mhm.
For the TDI, in TDI, we as a customer has to install the HANA database on their existing hardware or VMs. We can say that. Okay, so customer
Mhm.
is responsible if the customer is going with the TDI modules. So in TDI, as a HANA admin, HANA consultant, technical architect, we have to do the sizing for the memory, we have to do the sizing for the CPU and the disk. Okay, for the TDI, we do sizing for memory, disk, and the CPU. So this is a the questions always come into the in the certification exams. Okay, so if you are going for the TDI model, so what component you choose for the sizing? So memory, disk, and the RAM. So these three are the sizing component. We have to perform sizing on this. Okay. So we'll see that how we approach the sizing. Okay. So goal of this lesson is to understand what needs to be considered for a correct sizing of the SAP HANA for appliance or the TDI approach. Sizing is the standard terms in SAP, which means determining the hardware requirements of SAP systems such as physical memory, CPU power, and the I/O capacity. Sizing of SAP HANA appliance respectively, database server is mainly based on the required main memory sizing. So in HANA, we do sizing for the main memory only, and then other part we automatically calculate it. So there is a formula for calculating the size for disk and the CPU. Memory sizing is determined by the amount of data that is going to be stored in the your main memory. So it depends upon the source data footprint. So how much data you are going to store in your memory. So that is basically it depends upon your database size, existing database size. Okay. Sizing of other components within the server is derived from the main memory size. Sizing recommendation apply for certified hardware vendor. Please contact your hardware vendor for suitable hardware configuration. Once you done with the sizing exercise, you calculated the memory requirement, memory, CPU, and then a disk. Then you have to contact certified hardware vendors, and you share your result with the vendors, and then vendor will evaluate, and he will they will give you the best quote for the hardware. Yeah. So general concept for the sizing for HANA database. When sizing SAP HANA systems, when we do a sizing for SAP HANA systems, every HANA customers must perform a memory sizing depending on the HANA deployment. So here deployments is nothing but scenario. So we have the different scenario in a HANA, like we for the fresh greenfield implementation. So in that we have to use the quick sizer tools. Okay, if it is totally fresh. If it is migration projects, if you're running your SAP application on Oracle or non HANA database, then you have to run these scripts. Sizing scripts is there. So based on that, you can run, and that report will automatically give you the recommended memory required for the HANA database. Another is the non-SAP systems. If you're running non-SAP systems on any database, so in that case, we have the sizing report as well. So we have to run those reports on the systems database, and that report will provide you the required main memory for the your HANA database. Yeah, we'll see that
Okay.
in detail. So different scenario we have. So for greenfield implementation, new implementation, that is, you have to use the Quixadder if you're implementing BW or before HANA. Okay, as a the new implementations, then you have to perform a sizing with the Quixadder. So in Quixadder, you have to just put the information about the source database. Okay, a data footprint, number of users. That's it, and it will give you the CPU and the RAM requirements and the disk as well. Yeah. For the suite on HANA, you also use for the Quixadder tools for the greenfield implementation. Okay. Uh, and for non-SAP applications, so sizing guide is there. So we'll see that how you will size the your HANA database for non-SAP applications. Yeah. So we have the formulas for that one. Migration, if you are migrating your systems from any database to HANA, for example, if you're migrating your BW, which is running on the Oracle or SQL or DB2, anything, okay, and you want to migrating into the HANA or S4 HANA, sorry, B4 HANA, okay, or BW on HANA. So we have the different SAP nodes here, okay. So we have to go with these all the nodes. The latest one is this one. So we have to implement this SAP nodes in the system. So after the implementation, you will see one the script is there. That is the uh, it
Yeah,
is
it
nothing but
generates
programs.
input and Excel, right?
Sorry.
Once once we execute this node, it will generate some HTML output and some zip files, right? For the
Yeah, I
sizing.
have that screenshot. Yeah, I have everything. So I
Mhm.
have one example for this. I
No,
have
actually,
one.
I did it. I did it
Oh,
previously.
okay, okay. Yeah, so it will, yeah. So if you execute, so we have to execute this in the backgrounds, and then after that, it will generate a spool. So once your job is finished, then you go to the your SM37 and check the job log basically in the spool. So it will show you the required memory. Okay, so in that for if it is a BW systems and your database size is very huge, then it will give you two recommendation, one for the single node recommendation, and one will be a scale out, that is the distributor recommendation. So based on your database size, it will provide you two recommendation. If your size is less, database size is less, then the sizing report will provide you one node only, one node configurations.
Okay.
Okay. Same for the S4 HANA, suite on HANA or S4 HANA, you want to do migrations, then this is the latest one. So in that you will see reports. Okay, you have to execute these reports in the background. So the report execution will take a lot of time, depends upon your database. So make sure that you execute in the backgrounds. Otherwise, if you run in the foreground, then runtime timeout error, you will receive the timeout errors. Okay, we'll see that one by one. Okay.
Okay.
So sizing approach for the HANA TDI. So basically, we will going to see sizing for the TDI. Okay. Okay. So in that, we have to consider the RAM sizing for static and the dynamic RAM, dynamic data. Okay. And the disk sizing, that is the persistent storage, and the CPU sizing for the queries and the calculations. Yeah. So uh, in the main memory sizing, so main memory sizing is divided into static RAM sizing and the dynamic RAM sizing. Okay. So what is this static sizing? Static RAMs. What is the static RAMs? We'll see later. Okay. First, we'll see the approaches. What approaches we have. Okay. If you're sizing for your business suite like ECC, EHP, ERP, that is the business suite, that is ERP, EHP 8 or S4 HANA. Okay, so either it may be a green field. So if it is the green field, then use the quick sizer tools. Okay, if it is the migrations, then two approach we have. Okay, uh, first is the quick and easy approach, that you can use your formulas. Okay, so SAP has provided the formulas. For example, here SAP recommend the recommendation from SAP is that you take the half of your size of your disk based database. For example, if you have your Oracle and the size for Oracle is 200 GB. Okay, database size is 200 GB. So what SAP recommend, include a safety buffer of the first is divide your uh, uh, database size into half, divided by half. Okay, so if it is 2 TB, then it will become around 1 TB. Okay, and then SAP says that 20% you take a buffers. Okay, so 20% of 1 TB, it would be around 200 GB. So it will be become 1.2 TB. Okay, and then after that SAP says that you add 50 GB more. So this 50 GB is required for your system tables. Okay, so this 50 GB plus 1200 GB, it comes around 1250. So this is the simple formula which you can also use instead of reports. Okay, so simple, the recommendation from SAP is that you take the half of your size of your disk based database and include the safety buffers of 20% and add 50 GB fixed size for the code, stacks, and other services. So this is the 50 GB is required for the HANA database services. This means that if the database is currently approximately 200 GB, 2000 GB, that is a 2 TB. Okay, in size, table plus indexes. Okay, so maximum memory consumption will be this one. So 2 TB divided by 2 into 20%
Yeah,
buffer, and
got it.
then 50 GB.
Got it.
Yeah, okay. So simple way, but this will not consider your future growth. Yeah, so you have to consider your future growth as well. So you have to add your future growth of the database here. Yeah. Another approach is the sizing reports. So for more accurate sizing, you have to use the SAP note. Okay, from the SAP note, you have to run the scripts. Okay, so um, one report is there. You have to run through a SE38. Okay, and then after executing, you will see the output like this. Okay, so if you see that suite on HANA, so total memory required is 2.4 TB. Okay, so it is in TB. It is in GB. If you calculate, it comes in TB. So almost 2.5 TB is required. So disk. What is the disk? So this is 1.3 TB disk data is there in the system. So this much of RAM you required for your HANA database. Okay, for the migration projects. Yeah. So this is the main one. Okay, if you see here, if you're running HANA with Simple Finance, then the size with this one. So we have two suite on HANA, Simple Finance, and then one is the optimal set of suites. Okay, so optimal set of suite means minimum. If you're not fully using the your suite on HANA. Okay, so for that case, you can go with this one, but recommendation go with the higher one. Yeah, this one. So it will support everything. Yeah. Okay, so it's very easy. So simple, just execute and it will give you the results. Okay, another is the sizing for the BW Honana. So here, if you're doing the sizing for the BW systems, okay, BW on HANA or B for HANA. Okay, so here column store and the row store are important. So it perform um, the calculation of the row store table and the it give the memory requirement for the row stores and the column stores as well. Yeah, so what is the purpose of this column store and the row stores in the BW systems? Okay, if you can see, if you see that your S4 HANA system or suite on HANA. Okay, so that is your transactional application. Okay, and BW is the analytical application. Okay, so if you see, if you configure the distributed environment for your BW system, that is the scale out concept, if you implement your BW as a scale out installation, so in that what happen, your one will be a master node, okay, and other will be a worker node, or we can say that other will be a slave nodes, okay, and in that you will be having a one standby nodes minimum for the high availability. So in that case what happens, so your all the row store tables, okay, will be available on your master node, and the column store table will be available on the your slave nodes, okay. So slave node is always handle the column store tables, okay. So in that the reading and the query performance is very good in the distributed environment for the BW systems, and whereas the row store is always stored on your master node, yeah. So that's the reason row store and the column stores are important in the BW sizing, yeah. And the remaining are same. This sizing we have to do this sizing and the CPU sizing for both S4 HANA and the B4 HANA as well, and Suite on HANA as well. So if you see the sizing report, so this is the sizing reports. Okay, if you run this sizing reports, okay, then you will see these options. Oh, okay. So here don't select anything. Okay, just take the default one. Okay, because you won't get this all data. So if you are going with the scenario based sizing, then you have to get the details about BW system from your functional team, and they unable to provide the details. Okay, so execute for everything for consider every cases in that one. Okay, and simply execute. Okay, and then you will see the result like this, okay. So if you see here, I have minimum requirement, and here I have the recommended recommendation from the SAP script. So if you, how you will read this one, okay. So if you see the see here, memory requirement minimum total is this one, okay. Okay, first we'll see the minimum one, okay. So minimum is this one, 1091, okay. This space required for data, this is the data volumes, and this is the log volumes, okay. The number of node included including the master node, okay. So here it says that you should have a three nodes, one master node and two slave nodes, okay. And the size for memory size for each node would be around 512 GB, okay. So here you should have the 512 GB of three nodes, okay. On each and every nodes you should have 512 GB of memory, okay. So this is the distributed environment, okay. Here another recommendations recommendations here SAP script says that you require a 2048 GB of RAM, okay. So minimum recommendation is this one, but minimum is this one, okay. 1 TB of RAM you can have, but this is the minimum, okay. But recommendation is 2 TB, okay. And in that you will be having one node, okay. So this is one node configuration recommendation, and this is the multi node recommendations, okay. So each and every node should have 512 GB of RAM. So RAM should be same on each and every node if you are going with the multi node, okay. Clear this one?
Yes, yes, clear. Thanks.
Yeah. If you see here sizing details, so here we have the row stores, here master columns, master column store, and the worker column stores. So here we have the size, okay. So here we have the totals, and here we have the total non-actives, okay. So this will be some temporary tables like PSA, something like, yeah. So main one is this. This is the main one. So the motive is to find out the memory recommendations. Okay. So now we have find out we got the memory requirements. Okay. Now we have to find out the disk required. Okay. So if you see here, this requirement automatically we got from the scripts. Okay. But in the S4 HANA, I don't think we will be getting test requirements. So net disk size here, it says that this is the total. Okay, but here it doesn't say that the data volumes and the log volumes. Yeah. So how we will calculate the size for the log volumes and the data volumes? We'll see that one. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, so this is the master node, slave node, which I already explained. Okay, so
Hmm.
on the slave nodes, you will be having uh, the column stores. Yeah, cubes, BSO, PSA, is all these things. And standby node is used for takeover purpose. So if any node fails, whether it is master node or slave nodes, then a standby node will take the control of the fail node. So who does the failover here in the scale out? The name servers. So name server act as a the cluster manager. So name server does the failover. So this is also one of the questions, certification questions. So in distributed environments, who perform the failover? So name servers perform the failover in case of any node goes down. Okay, sizing for the non-SAP applications. So in that we have also scripts. So go with this node, and you will be uh, if you download the zip files, in that zip file you will be having a script for the DB2, SQL, Oracle. Yeah, so if you just run those, and it will give you the recommendation for the memory. Yeah. Okay, fine. We know that through these scripts we can find out everything. Yeah. So memory and all that. So how you will find out the memory requirement manually? Okay. How you do the manual sizing? Okay. So whether it is B4 HANA, S4 HANA, or whether it is non-SAP applications. So how you will do the sizing, manual sizing. Okay. So we'll see that one. Okay, so first we have to find out the static and the dynamic RAM sizing. Okay, so what is the static RAM? So static RAM is nothing but some the data which are going to store in the RAM. So some fixed amount of data will store in your RAM. So that is nothing but the static RAMs. Okay, dynamic RAMs. So during the run times, the tables and objects are created. Okay, so that required some dynamic RAMs. Okay, so that we call a dynamic RAM sizing. So in the TDI we have to calculate the static RAM sizing and the dynamic RAM sizing. Okay, so static RAM sizing, the size of the static RAM sizing and the dynamic RAM sizing should be same. If, for example, if you calculate it, the static sizing is 1 TB, the static RAM required a 1 TB of memory. So same we have to consider for the dynamic RAM. So 1 TB for static RAM and 1 TB for the dynamic RAM. So that means that your total physical RAM will be a 2 TB. Okay, so static RAM equal to a dynamic RAM. So whatever your static RAM, same will be your dynamic RAM size. Okay, so how to calculate? Okay, so there is a formula to calculate your physical memory. So physical memory, that is the physical RAM memory, is nothing but RAM equal to static RAM plus the dynamic RAM. So there is a calculations formula provided by the ACP. So here RAM equal to dynamic RAM, static RAM. Okay, the formula here shows data footprint into 2 divided by 7. Okay, and multiply by the completion factors. So this is the C means completion factors. So what is this completion factors? Okay, shows data footprint is nothing but the database, the current data size of my legacy systems. Okay, so you will get it easily if you ask your DBA what is the current database size. Okay, here you will be get it, for example, 200 GB. So just 200 GB into 2. Okay, whatever comes, then divided by 7. Okay, and then multiply the completion factor. So what is the completion factors? Okay, so each and every database, for example, IBM DB2, Oracle, they have their completion factors. Okay, so how you will get the completion factors? You have to ask your DBA. Okay, what completion factor you are using? What is the completion ratio in your current database? Okay, for example, this says that zero 0.8, zero 0.7 something. Then you have to apply those over here. If you don't have, then put one only. Okay, so if it is if they don't know, then simply put one. Okay, if you put one, then the whatever values comes from here to here, so that will be the same. Okay, if you get the completion factor, then fine, so it will calculate the accurate memory. Yeah, so yeah, so you have to ask the completion factors from the DB only. Okay, so how you will size your disk? Okay, so here we got the memory. Okay, So how we will calculate the disk? Okay, so for disk, basically we do a disk sizing for the TDI one. Okay, so here we will be having a multiple file systems called root. So if you are going with the HANA database installation, okay, so here we have to should have this file system. One is the root, one is the HANA shared, okay, another is the HANA data, and then SID, okay, then HANA log, then SID, okay, and then one more USR recipe. Yeah. So this four are the these four file system we required on the HANA database suppose. Yeah. So this is the root one. Okay. So so it will be available by default. Okay. So minimum free space should be a 10 GB as recommended by the SAP. So it should have minimum 10 GB free space on a root partition. Okay, and for the HANA share, so this HANA share is nothing but this one. Yeah, this is the HANA share. So under that you will be having the clients libraries, so global directories, then profiles, instance profiles, executables. Okay, all the binaries you will be having under the HANA share. Okay, so what is the required? What is the required memory? What is the required size for this file systems HANA share? So it should be minimum 1 into RAM colon 1 TB. So whatever minimum for this you have to consider. For example, okay, for example, okay, so my RAM requirement is, after calculating, I got 500 GB. So this is 500 GB I required for physical memory. Okay, so what will be size for the my shared one, HANA shared? So HANA shared, it says that okay, you require a minimum, the formula here, minimum one into your RAM. So here is 500 GB comma 1 TB. So what is the minimum here? So minimum is here 500 GB. Okay, so maximum you can have up to 1 TB. Okay, if you put 2 TB, then it won't be utilizing. So this HANA should support up to 1 TB. You can have maximum size 1 TB. If you put 2 TB, then 1 TB will be unused. Okay, so HANA will not go beyond 1 TB for HANA share. Okay, so this is the maximum limit of the HANA share. Okay, and minimum is depends upon your RAM. So one time of your RAM. Yeah. For the data, okay, this user SAP, for user SAP at least 50 GB. SAP says that minimum you require 50 GB for the user SAP. Yeah. So this is the instance directory of your HANA database. Yeah. So it is yeah, it having all the kernels executables. Yeah. Here you will be having the HANA clients and the some shared files. Okay, some shared file will be so if you are going with the distributed environment, so this HANA shared should be shared among all the across all the nodes. Yeah, and this is your instance directories where your HANA database instance is installed. Yeah, so it is minimum is 50 GB. SAP recommended minimum should be 50 GB. Yeah. For the data, HANA data, okay, so HANA data, if it is appliance, then it comes by default 3 into RAM. Okay, so it is 3 into RAM. So if in the interview or in the certification exams, if you get any questions about that, what is the disk data volumes requirement for the appliance, then you will be having the multiple options. Here you have to select 3 into RAM for the appliance. If it is TDI, if it is the question is related to TDI, then formula is this one, 1.2, okay, into RAM. Okay, so if you consider this one, so if you multiply this 500 into 1.2, whatever come, that will be your size of the data volumes. Same here we have the log volumes. Okay, so minimum half of your RAM and the 512 GB. Okay, so maximum you can have 512 GB. If you put 1 TB, then the 512 GB will never use. So HANA database log volumes, HANA database uses up to 512 GB logs volumes only. So if you put more, then it will be unused. Yeah. So maximum size for the log volume is 512 GB, and minimum depends upon your RAM. If your RAM divided by 2, half of your RAM. Yeah. So this way you can calculate the disk. Okay. So the one or two question is always available, always asked in the certification exams for the TDI and the appliance as well. Yeah. So sometimes it's asked for the data volume, sometimes it's asked for the log volume as well. Yeah. Any question here?
Yeah, no.
Okay. Yeah. So now CPU sizing. We have calculated the calculated memory sizing, then we have calculated the disk sizing based on your RAM. Okay, now we will calculate the CPU required, number of CPU required for your HANA database. Okay, so sizing for the CPU is depends upon the active users. Okay, so active users means if we go back, so CPU sizing it depends upon queries and calculations. Okay, for the users who perform the queries and calculations. Yeah, so basically it is for active users. Okay, so one active users will consume 300 SAPs. So in SAP systems, when we do the sizing for the CPU, we consider the SAPs. Okay, so one active user will consume 300 SAPs. Okay, so if you have
So, sorry to
yeah.
interrupt you, but this 300 SAPs is standard, right? It's a thumb
Yeah,
rule.
it is standard. Yeah, it is thumb rule. It is standard.
Despite of any database, any hardware, any software.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So it is standard for one active user. It's required 300 steps.
Okay.
Okay. So if you see here, for example, consider I have the 500 users which will be active users, which will be using my HANA database and actively perform the calculations and the queries. Okay. So if you calculate the SAPs, so if you multiply 300 with 500, you will be getting this one lakh 50,000. Okay, but this is my if you see that we cannot consider cut to cut. Okay, so we have to give some percentage of ideal CPU to our servers as well. Okay, if you consider this one, if all users 500 user will access simultaneously your database, then your CPU utilization is always 100%. Okay, and
Mhm.
that will create a problem. Okay, so thumb rule, you consider the additional 60% SAPs on this. Okay, this is the thumb rule. Consider 60% of additional SAPs on calculated SAPs. Okay, for 60% of this, okay,
Mhm.
it will come around
90.
90,000. Okay, and then final charge will be this one plus 90,000. Okay, so it comes around 2 lakhs 40,000. Okay, so this you won't get in. So this formula you won't get so this is my own calculations. Okay, if you Google, you won't get this calculations, and this is the accurate calculations based on my experience. Okay, I will show you that the proof, the same sizing you can perform through the quick sizers, and you will be getting a same results, same SAPs. Yeah, I will show you that one. Yeah, so this is the thumb rule. So I'm whenever I do a sizing, I consider this formula only. Okay, so this is
Oh,
my own calculated formula based on my experience. Okay, so this is this much of SAPs you required to handle the 500 active users. Okay, so you have to share this SAPs with your hardware partner, and based on this SAPs, the hardware partner will provide you the number of CPUs required to handle 2 lakhs 40,000 SAPs. Yeah. So
okay.
different vendors support the different SAPs. For example, if you consider the IBM
Mhm.
CPU, for example,
IBM
IBM
Power is
CPU.
more powerful, yeah. IBM and Intel
Yeah.
based.
Yeah. So they have different CPU architecture, and they have their CPU support different SAPs. One vendor will support 4,000 SAPs, another vendor will support 5,000 SAPs something. Okay,
Mhm.
so all that is depends upon your hardware partners. Yeah. So we cannot calculate how many we require for to handle this app. So this is basically depends upon your CPU architectures. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. So if you see, this example is from the non-ACP systems. Okay, so the when you run the scripts, so you will be getting a, this is the size 1.182 GB. Okay, so and the completion factor is 1.8. Okay, so you apply this in your formula. Okay, so data footprint is 182 GB, and then multiply by 2, divided by 7, and then your compression factor. So your RAM will be 94 GB. Okay, for the disk, this is a calculator calculation for the uplines, and this is for the TDI, and this is the logs. Okay, so if you consider logs, I as per the formula, it should be a half of your RAM. Okay, but if you consider the half, that around, less than a 50 GB. Okay, so 50 GB is very less. As a basis, we basically give a more space for the log. Otherwise, we will face some issues. So here, I consider the same size of the RAM here. Okay, so whenever
Mhm.
you do a sizing, don't consider for the minimum. Okay, if you consider the minimum, then the maintenance work for the bases will be so the bases will be busy always for monitoring and all that. So that the monitoring and the maintenance will be higher for the minimum hardware. So always consider the some higher side. Okay, to avoid
Mhm.
the issues and performance issues. Yeah. Okay, so QuickSizer is the universal tool for sizing SAP systems and product. This is the web-based tool, and it is free of cost. SAP HANA database can also be sized using the SAP QuickSizer tools. Okay, the QuickSizer calculates the CPU disk and the memory. It calculates size based on throughput and the number of users. Okay, the QuickSizer tool is used for HANA standalone, BW on HANA, and the business load on HANA. So HANA standalone means if you are running your HANA database, okay,
Mhm.
without your SAP applications. Okay, so that is nothing but standalone HANA database, like SLT. If you consider
Mhm.
the sidecar scenario, okay,
Mhm.
so in sidecar you will be having a HANA database. Okay, and in that you will be replicating the data from the multiple source systems. Okay, and on top of the HANA database, you are doing a native developments. Okay, native HANA modeling. Okay, so that is nothing but the standalone sizing. So you are using the HANA as a database and as a application. So I explained in the first lecture, HANA database is the two-tier layer. Okay, two-tier architectures. One is the database, and another we have the application. So XX engine we have. Okay, so XX engine provide the application servers. So it provide the development platform for the application developers. So application developers can build their application in the XX engine. Yeah.
Mhm.
So that is nothing but the standalone HANA database sizing. Yeah. If you I you already aware of this QuickSizer tools. Yeah. So here I will give one example. Okay, so if you go on a QuickSizer, you have to there you will be getting a two option. One is the classical QuickSizer, and one another will be HANA based QuickSizers. Okay, if you're going with the HANA sizing, then click on the HANA QuickSizers version, and then you have to create a project and all that. And then after that, so you select your database. Okay, so here I have taken one example for the standalone HANA database. So in that, once you click here, you have to provide the number of users and the source data footprint. This compression is the default one, and of course here you have to provide the working days and the timing and all that. Okay, so if you see that number of users, so 500 I have taken. Okay, the same example, the manual calculations in that we consider the 500 users, and in that we got the 2 lakhs 40,000 saps. Okay, so
Mhm.
we'll see that how this QuickSizer calculate, whether it is calculating the same result or different. Okay, so here you put the number of users, active user will going to access your database, and the number of the and the your source database footprint. Okay, so current size of your legacy systems, yeah, and keep the compression default. Okay, and then click on the calculate results. Okay, once you click on the calculate results, okay, here calculate results, okay, then you will be getting a sizing here. If you see that SAPS is 2,40,000. Okay, so based on my the calculation, it is giving the correct uh, output. Yeah, so you can also try if you want, you can try if you have the OSS access, then you try using the quick sizes. So that formula is the accurate formula. Okay, if you see here memory requirement, so memory requirement is almost 76 GB is required. Okay, okay, so this is the memory requirement for your HANA database. But if you see that here the DB disk, so DB disk is 123. Okay, so here if you see, this is not the accurate.
1.2.
Yeah, so so this only will show you the recommendation only for this recommendation doesn't include your log volumes and the data volumes. Okay, it includes your HANA shared and the USR SAP. That's it. Okay,
Okay.
HANA logs and the data volumes, log volumes and data volumes you have to calculate based on your this
Memory.
memory. Yeah, so this is only for HANA shared and the your user recipe. So here if you see that user recipe is 50 GB as per the ACP recommendation, and the HANA shared should be a minimum, that is the 76 GB. If you 76 GB, if you plus 76 GB plus 50 GB, okay, so it comes around 123 something. So same the amount you will be getting. So this sizing doesn't include your log volumes and the data volumes. Yeah, so log volumes and data volumes you have to do separately. Okay. Yeah, so get the right amount of hardware. Okay, once you have calculated the correct value for memory, disk, CPU, that is the SAPs, then you have to contact trusted and certified hardware vendor and share the quick sizes output details. Vendor can work with you to evaluate your sizing calculations to determine or find out which hardware is suited for your configurations requirement. Yeah, so you have to set with your hardware partners. Okay, that partner should be certified hardware partners. Okay, so if you go on the SAP portal, and or you if you google on the if you google that SAP HANA certified hardware partner, then on the SAP portal you will be getting the list of the hardware vendor which is certified by the SAP. Okay, you have to contact those only. Conclusions. Okay, so the need for SAP HANA sizing is very important in the initial phase of SAP HANA implementation. Improper sizing or missing sizing exercise will lead to various issues in terms of performance, and the whole purpose of the HANA implementation will be lost. Proper sizing of HANA server is very important. Okay, if you undersize the servers, you will be facing a performing issue. If you oversize the servers, you have to pay the extra the cost. Okay, if you do oversize, then the cost is not matter because the performance is matter. If undersize, then if you face performing issue, then it is trouble to the basis consultant or HANA admin. Okay, so do a proper sizing. If you oversize, then you won't face any performance issues. So that's all depends upon you how you do the sizing. Okay, so obviously undersize it is not recommended. Oversize if you do, that is okay. You won't get any issues. Okay, so if you see that the hardware partners available, so since 2013, this is the screenshot of 2013. Okay, so IBM, HP, Hitachi, Cisco, Dell, Fujitsu, we have these all hardware partners. Now, if you see the latest one, some more hardware partner are added in that portal. Yeah. So if you see that here we have the for the uplines. Okay, for the uplines, we have the T-shirt based sizing. Okay, if you calculated the size required for your database is 128 GB. Okay, then your size will be a small size. Yeah, okay, so based on this, in the appliance you will be getting everything. Appliance is nothing but you will be getting disk, CPU, everything. So you have to just do the sizing for the your RAM. Okay, and based on the RAM in the appliance, automatically everything is calculated. They calculate, the vendors calculate automatically. So they have predefined the appliance. Okay, so if you go on a service marketplace, okay, not service marketplace, on the uh, hardware vendor side, SAP hardware vendor side, so you will be saying, you will be getting this all informations. Okay, so this is only applicable for your appliance model. Okay, for the TDI, as I told, that you can use your existing infrastructures. Okay, so this will not come. Okay, TDI will come if in what cases? Okay, for example, you have the appliance of the maximum size of 12 TB. So if you see the Cisco one, Cisco
Hmm.
hardware, Cisco hardware appliance support the maximum uh, 12 TB. Okay, so you can buy a 12 TB of the one appliance, and then you can divide. You can install the VMs. Okay, and you can divide your RAM and CPU in the multiple VMs, and in that you can install your HANA database. Okay, if you're going for the VMs, okay, so in VMs you have to do a proper sizing. You have to calculate this memory and the CPU. Okay, so it's the same way which we do a TDI. So if you are installing a VMs on the appliance, so that is nothing but your TDI. Okay, because you are not installing your database on the appliance. So complete to 12 TB you are not utilizing for one servers. Okay, but you are utilizing 12 TB for multiple VMs. So multiple VMs, in that you have to do a sizing for your manual sizing for your disk, RAM, and the CPU. Yeah, got it. So this is all about today's session. Okay, sizing. Okay, any questions?
No, no, no question. All is clear.
Okay,
Is this perfect?
okay. So basically, if you're going for the certification, then go with this all these things, because most of the questions are coming from this PPT. So I consider everything, the interview questions and the certification questions, everything in these slides. So if you see here, this one, okay, if it is the questions related to TDI, okay, so this option you will be getting this plus two, or other two or one option will be wrong. Okay, so but this is the correct answer. Yeah, so I consider everything, so just go with this all recording. Okay, so we'll stop today. Okay.